Oh, Mr. Hill.
Howdy.
It's in the freezer.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
They've been, I don't know how long they've been in there, but I'll let you. I was looking for you down there. Right, well, you're frozen. I will never fix them unless you tell me how you fix yours. I'm sure if I fix them that way, it's gonna be good.
They're 27 to 40% off, and I wonder if I will start ordering some while they're on sale.
Sit back
On
here.
both sides.
Got the scriptures on them, and they got.
Wednesday I am, I got
I just wanted to ask you.
You do them, you cover them with foil, and stick them in.
Grab my car, then I go out to Lake Swim, 45 minutes to go on the side.
Wednesday, y'all all have to catch up the drop off.
Four, Bible study over there. Six, I got Bible study over here.
Then you call to get the medicine dose.
Wow.
Way after time for their appointment.
So you go swim at the lake?
She right here.
Every morning, Saturday and Sunday? Is it kinda cold or is it nice?
I saw your seat.
Where do you go swim at?
Albert, the swim area, Albert.
Sorry about that. Down there.
5 miles from the swim.
That your wife gave her.
Went to really nice swim. Hello, Derek.
Did you tell that old lady to come in?
She's on the phone. I didn't
Sorry.
tell her.
She interrupted her and told her she didn't get in here.
Hang on, honey.
Robert, didn't you live on Holbrook? That little swimming area and beach right there where you used to live?
They moved off, they don't wanna sit by me.
Yeah. Well, it looks like pretty nice little beach area.
Have they cleaned it up?
Oh, yeah, this
They don't
place,
have to turn their neck.
county boys come twice a week and pick up trash. Some of them will pick up the, place, and then they're gonna ditch, they do a pretty good job.
Do you remember how many we gave out last year, Rob? Yeah, I think it's two.
That's right. They do that
Inflation.
for everybody else.
How many of those bracelets we gave out last year? I know it's a whole bunch. But they got them on sale.
Johnny?
Was, 'cause you can
Yes, sir.
buy any
Did you
candy.
get my voicemail?
Rest of the time.
No, I didn't.
Huh?
The year before.
Or was it the year before? Well, it was pretty sure.
Services.
I know we couldn't select,
I think you can help me with my
but
iPhone?
they got those ridiculous
Absolutely.
bracelets on sale right now on Amazon.
I think I was the first
Like
time.
27 to 30% off, 40% off on some. I thought it was at least that many. But I thought if we could get them on sale, why not buy them now? Those out here on church.
Either one of y'all need
I have those by my chair, Rachel, and I try my best to resist. I get into them all the
Like a
time.
seat or something, but kinda got to me. She's good. Yeah. She keeps me busy, but she's good. Getting her stuff ready for school.
Can y'all see that screen okay still? Okay.
Your grandkids still back.
We're gonna have to get you a lamp to go over your
They're relieved when you
thumb.
Well, this is the,
Yeah.
so these screens are in white, so they'll be a little easier to see. Okay, I guess we want to lift some people up.
Miss Monty,
Miss Monty.
Out there still doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's doing good.
They were concerned about Jerry's blood pressure riding way too high. Brady's gonna have another stroke.
where's she gonna go
It
to
was
school?
100 and,
TJC.
50-something over 80-something today.
That's not too high, Betty.
It is for him.
It's not struggling.
Oh, they're having a fit. They've already given him another blood pressure medicine. You don't want to put all those chemicals in his body, so we'll see if he talks.
Maybe he's not taking his medicines right, that's maybe.
No, he was taking them. He's just prone to that.
Lift Christy up.
Joel.
She had treatment today.
What, huh?
Huh?
She had her treatment.
Christie had done three.
And we need to lift my brother-in-law here.
Okay.
I was ready to kill him. I thought, my sister, Dorothy Harris.
Dorothy,
It was time.
Charles,
how is Charles?
he said he was hurting. So-
They'll,
Hmm.
Charles is not well right now anymore.
He's just gonna move.
He's losing way too much weight.
You say you failed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lady in Rusk, Kay, we need to lift her up. She fell also.
Who did? The lady.
The lady in his church.
Oh.
My mom.
Yeah, Alicia's mom, Alicia's dad.
Did she go to the pneumonia yet, or is she still got
A
it?
little bit. She still has it, yeah, we went and saw her.
Okay.
She's really confused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really,
That goes with being reversed.
Are we all?
yeah,
To some degree or another, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Need to lift my dad up.
Your wife said she didn't want to stay by you?
She's out there talking on the phone. That's
Oh,
all she
okay.
does.
It's your job, isn't it?
Did you bring candy tonight?
I did, yeah.
I plan on having me a few pieces.
All right. You got you,
Chocolate.
You better get smart.
Lots of
yeah,
chocolate.
you got your thinking cap on?
No.
I got mine from last time, but you still owe me, so I got one.
Does anybody want to lift them up? Okay.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this wonderful, wonderful church family and for all the work that Johnny and Brother Jim does on our Bible study to teach us more. And Lord, we hope we can retain it. And please be with all those who are sick and suffering and all those who are grieving, Lord. We ask you to lift them up too. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, yeah, candy's on the table. I'm gonna ask you to pass it around. Once we get to that point. Candy's not free. Okay, the Holy Bible, Smith Chapel Bible Study.
John,
What is it and why should I care? Yeah,
you make a better door than a window.
okay. I'll try and stay out of your way. It's kind of hard though.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll move right over there.
Are you gonna be able to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here I go. Watch me.
I think I moved my laptop down here too, and that'll help a little bit.
Can you use the podium?
Use your podium.
Okay, the Holy Bible, Psalm 119:11 reminds us, I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. One of the reasons we read and study the Bible. So what I want to do tonight is, we went over like the categories of the Bible, and then,
Can you see?
yeah, kind of.
That's better though, the screen goes
Okay,
on.
good. We went over the broad categories of the entire Bible, and I gave everyone a handout of what that looks like. And then last time, we went over the Pentateuch, which is first 5 books of the Bible, and it's also known as the Torah. Okay. We studied a little bit about how all the Old Testament books are in the Jewish Bible, and they're just ordered differently. And I'm still fascinated by that we have a lot of Jewish roots in what we study. It's pretty amazing. So since we went over the first 5 books, what I want to do tonight, because the first 5 books are so foundational, I kind of want to back up a little bit, go over them one more time, a little bit deeper, and then we'll get into the historical books, which comes after the first 5 books. Okay, so this is the foundation. It's the Pentateuch or Pentateuch, depending on which part of Texas you're from. The first book in the Bible is here's some memorable things about Genesis. It's the creation of everything. It was good, God said, and then he made people and he said, very good. Sin entered into the world and a curse began. And the sin was, we had a discussion about the sin, and we talked about the serpent and how God, after the serpent was in the garden, cursed him to be a snake on the ground. And that was the first instance when a perfect world, there was doubt introduced into, did God really say that about the garden? Now things were not so good. And we had the great flood, and God promised he wouldn't flood the world again with a rainbow. Do you guys remember that story? And Abraham, the father of our faith, emerges. There's many other things happening in the book of Genesis. I just tried to give some top-of-mind things. So after Genesis comes Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. The key location for these three books is Mount Sinai. There's a lot of activity happening around Mount Sinai. And the Israelites break free from their bondage in Egypt, and they are on their way back to the Promised Land, Canaan. So the book of Exodus, let's see, Leviticus and Numbers. These are books that they're very fuzzy, and like there's no clear delineation between each of them. They all are telling a similar story, and it's woven in between them. Yeah.
Why don't you put your laptop up on that podium there?
Because it'll slide off. It's at an angle.
You're good, go ahead.
Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Oh.
You just sit right here.
So I wanted to pull up a picture, a map of where the Israelites were going after they left Egypt. So they did this great exodus. And remember, it was Moses in Exodus that was leading them. This is the Red Sea. And everybody's familiar with the Ten Commandments movie, remembers that scene where Moses parts the Red Sea. And this is where that happened. This is Egypt. Up here is Israel. And over here, down here is Saudi Arabia, the Arabias. And so they cross the Red Sea and they go down, and down here somewhere roughly is Mount Sinai at the tip of this sort of peninsula thing. And then they go back up towards Israel. At this point, I wanted to show a map because of what's going on in the world. Yeah, here it is. Well, you think I'd be better prepared than this? Google Earth. There we go. Okay, it is pulling up. See if we can make that work. Okay. Okay, does everybody recognize this?
Africa.
Yeah, that's the continent of Africa. And then if we zoom in a little bit, you start seeing places like Egypt right here. It's at the northeast corner of Africa. You see a big landmass here, it's basically desert. That's Saudi Arabia. And the area where all this in Exodus is taking place is up here at the corner of Egypt, crossing over into like this Arabia landmass. And right here is Israel, right up there. And I'll zoom in a little bit more. Yeah.
A very small portion of,
Overall, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very small portion. So this is the Gulf of Suez. This is known as the Red Sea right here. Down here is Mount Sinai, where it would be, and this is Cairo up here in Egypt. So somewhere around here is where he parted the Red Sea to make it over here and go down to Mount Sinai. It's just kind of interesting to look at that, especially given what's going on in the world. Eventually, he makes it up here to Israel, and Canaan was right here on the west side of the Jordan River. Up at the top is the Sea of Galilee. You know, there's miracles, and that's where Jesus had his ministry up there, and he walked on water and stuff. That happened up here, this little lake up here. It's about a 9-mile lake up at the top. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit to it. You can see it. Yeah, that's the Sea of Galilee. And the Jordan River flows all the way down to the Dead Sea, which is the lowest point on earth. It's also one of the saltiest bodies of water in the world. Here's Jericho right at the top of the Dead Sea. So just giving you a sense of where Moses was leading the Israelites back to. The Promised Land. And I'd be remiss if I didn't come over here. Does anyone recognize this waterway?
everybody.
It's on the news every day.
What is it?
The Strait of-
Strait of Hormuz. So this is all Iran right here. And over here is Kuwait, and Iraq is up here. And when in Genesis, when Abraham left his city, they say it was the city of Ur. He was Ur of the Chaldeans, is what it says. It was in basically Iraq, right down here, somewhere around in Iraq. And when the Lord told him to go, he was trying to make it over here to Israel. And back then they didn't have roads or cars or anything. So every time they left somewhere, especially in the desert, they had to travel by way of river because they had to stay around water. And so he had to, I think it's the Euphrates or something, he had to travel one of these rivers up into Syria before he came back down to go to Israel. So he had to go like a roundabout way. There was no direct route. So just a little bit of difference in, you know, when they were traveling, they had to always stick by water. So anyway, just give you a little background. Let's see if I can. And if I'm not saying anything correct, I'm not an expert in any of this, so if something isn't seeming right, question it. Did everything seem okay, Mike? Okay, let me get back to my presentation here.
Are we able to ask stupid questions?
Yeah, only stupid
Good,
ones.
I got one. Let me start it.
Okay.
Why do they call it the promised land? What's promised?
That's a good question. I don't know. Do y'all know why it's called the Promised Land?
That's what God promised.
God promised it to them.
To the Israelites.
Yeah, that's what God promised. He said,
Well, you said go there, but
he called it the promised land.
he called it the Promised Land?
Promised land to the Israelites.
Yes, Abraham and his descendants. Land of milk and honey.
That's just what I told you today.
If,
We talked about that earlier.
I've never been to like Saudi Arabia or any of those areas there, but there's an awful lot of desert out there. And in Israel, it's an amazing country because it's so small, but it has like all kinds of geography there. There's mountains, you can go skiing, there's lakes, there's lush valleys. So I could see why that would be a land they would want to go to. Okay. Let me see if I can.
Well, Darren was in Iraqi Freedom, and I asked him, did it look as nasty as it was on the movie? He said they dressed it up for the movie, Mother. It's nothing but sand. That's all it is sand, nasty sand.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is Exodus. Memorable events there are the enslavement of God's people in Egypt. Moses is raised up. You remember that phrase, let my people go. This is also in Exodus 3, I think, is where the burning bush comes into play, where he experiences God through the burning bush. And it was around Exodus 3 where the Lord responds with, I am who I am. Because, correct me if this story's wrong, Moses was saying, surely I'm going to go back to the people and they're going to ask who says these things. And God says, I am. Tell them I am who I am. Is that right? I am who I am. Then we get the commandments, the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. There's also a definition of the Sabbath, what to make the tabernacle out of, like the place to worship God. There's instructions on creating the Ark of the Covenant are in there. Do you guys remember the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Ark of the Covenant.
I was reading today all the specifics of the tabernacle, of how it was so detailed, of how it would be done.
Yes, yeah. Exactly how it should be created, and
Yeah.
like there were supposed to be angels on top and cherubims, I think is what they're called, and their wings should be pointing at one another on top. It's very detailed.
Very, very hard to read.
Yeah. Well, Leviticus talks about basically rules and laws. Okay, it's time to grow up, people. You know, we can't just be doing everything we want to do. We actually have to follow some kind of rules and laws. Talks about priests and individuals, definitions of uncleanliness, what types of sins and how they should be punished, and those kind of things. And we get a lot of our current laws and how we structure laws from books like this in the Bible.
So Leviticus was a person?
No.
Yes, no?
It's a book in the Bible.
Yeah, but is it a person?
No.
It is not a person. I don't know why it's called Leviticus.
What's a Leviticus then?
A book in the Bible.
Huh?
A book in the Bible.
That's it?
That's all you need to know at this point, because that's all I know.
It's not someone's name.
He's called it.
Leviticus
Because
has to
that's
mean
what
something,
God
doesn't it?
wanted.
We'll ask Siri here in a second.
We get around to Siri here a little bit.
It also talks about when to have festivals as well. Okay, and then Numbers, some memorable events there. It starts out with a census of the people. Like how many people are in your group? Where are they located? Who are these people? So that I understand because I can connect that to this name Numbers, right? If you're doing a census of the people, you can get a count of how many people are there. It also talks about the 12 tribes. And God is getting people organized into these 12 tribes so that they can become a nation. And then there's a very interesting connection with the book of Numbers with Genesis. Somebody help me. I forget the name of the prophet. The prophet. What is the prophet's name? Anyway. No, it's starts with a B. Balaam. The prophet Balaam says to Israel, "May those who bless you be blessed, and those who curse you be cursed." This recalls God's promise to Abraham in Genesis, "I will bless those who bless you and curse whoever curses you." So that prophet reiterated what God said in Genesis 12 to Abraham. And he's talking about the nation of Israel. "I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you." And we may all have opinions on that, but there's something to look at when you're deciding if you're going to support Israel or not, because these are words from God.
The name Leviticus comes from the root word Levi, which is the priestly tribe of the 12.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And maybe you might know this, Mike, but I think isn't it Jesus who should come from the tribe of Levi?
he's one, yeah.
He's one?
Mike's thinking, his eyes are rolling, so he's thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Deuteronomy. Okay, so you had 3 books there. You had Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and those are very undefined. There's no clear delineation between them. They're all sort of the same story, just talking about different places and groups of people, but it's all the same. So you can kind of group those 3 together. Deuteronomy is a little bit different, so you can view it as being different than those other 3. Okay, so Deuteronomy is, no pop quizzes. It's where the covenant's established between God and the Israelites as Moses declares it. It records Moses' speech before he dies. He climbs up a mountain, he looks over the land, and then he has his speech, and then he dies. And they're about to get to the promised land, and he's setting up a covenant with the people. He's saying, God, you all must follow God, keep following God. And remember, they were wandering around in the wilderness for quite some time before that happened.
40 years.
40 years.
Jesus came from the tribe of Judah.
From the tribe of Judah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's also something about. Well, I'm not going to get into it. We'll go later. It's a tangent. Okay. So when the book of Deuteronomy is talking about things, it follows a standard format that was very prominent back in that day when rulers created treaties with their people. And the format is 5-fold. The great ruler is identified by name and title. Then they talk about the history of the mighty acts of that ruler. And then they talk about an allegiance or specific duties expected of the servants of the ruler. And then they talk about blessings for keeping the treaty, so good reasons to keep the treaty. And then they talk about provisions for continuing the covenant in the future. And that was a standard sort of legal document they had back then. Well, Deuteronomy follows that pattern very closely, as Moses identifies the representative of the great king, the God of Israel, whose mighty acts for his people are recalled. Moses reminds his people to give him exclusive allegiance, and that's all before he dies. So there they are, giving their allegiance to God with the promise of a new land right in front of them, and they're about to go, but it's not going to be without troubles. They're going to have all kinds of troubles. And this is, when I was studying this, reading through the Bible, I didn't make all these connections, let's say. So some of this is pretty new to me. So after Deuteronomy, you have the covenant established, you have the people ready to go, their leader just died, and then their new leader is Joshua. And Joshua is sort of a lieutenant next to Moses. And so now he becomes their leader. And so that gets us into the book of Joshua. So before we go there, let me just do a pop quiz real quick. Who's considered the father of our faith?
Abraham.
Okay. Which of the three books are primary to how God formed the nation of Israel? Which book of three books? That's a weird question.
Numbers,
Leviticus and Deuteronomy.
No. No. It's Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. They don't have those well-defined edges. But it talks about how God formed his nation. Maybe that was on the teacher. Teacher didn't do a good job there. Which book of the Bible has the account of the Great Flood?
Genesis.
If you wanted to see a list of rules and laws and go to sleep, which book would you read?
Leviticus.
Leviticus.
Leviticus, yeah. Okay, so that is it for the first 5 books.
Yeah, pass out your candy.
Thank you. Can you just pass it out to anybody that answers correctly?
Y'all can have some.
Okay, so here are the historical books. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Samuel, Kings, Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. And we're not going to get too far into these just because. But as we talked about, Deuteronomy ended with Moses' passing away and Joshua picking up the reins. Now we're in the book of Joshua.
He did the battle of Jericho, that's the main thing I remember about Joshua.
Yeah, the Battle of Jericho. The trumpet sounding at Jericho and the division of the territory. This is interesting. So before his death at the age of 110, Joshua, he gave a farewell address and he declares to them, "Choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." So he's telling the people, we're going to serve the Lord, but choose this day who you're going to serve. See if there's anything else interesting in here. Okay, yeah, so this moves us into Judges. So Joshua's in there fighting, trying to establish the Jewish people in their promised land. And then we have Judges. And Judges relates to that cycle of people continually breaking their covenant with God. And he just as Joshua was passing away, he was like, choose this day who you're going to serve. They still struggled with that and breaking their promises to God. So God responds by raising up judges to fight for them and save them. And judges weren't just people in a courtroom. They were leaders, military leaders and things like that. But it was people leading them and fighting for them, trying to keep them on the straight and narrow. Just as Israel was made up of 12 tribes, so the book of Judges is made up of talking about those 12 judges.
So there's 12 judges in that book of Judges.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Name any of them?
No. Can anybody?
Samson was a judge.
Yep.
Ruth was a judge.
Samuel was a
Samuel
judge.
was a judge.
Yeah.
He gets a whole bag of candy. I'm like, oh.
So there were 12 tribes in Israel. And there's still 12 tribes there today.
Most Israelis today can't tell you what their lineage is, what tribe they're from. There's a few Levi that's still can claim, but they can do DNA testing and can point out some of them, but most Jews today do not know what tribe they're from.
Okay, so that's a little bit about Judges. We'll go to Ruth. It's a short book, and it's a bridge between Genesis and Judges and Samuel and the Kings. And it seems to be like making an explanation for why David should be king of Israel. It gives reasoning behind that, like he has the right to be the king of Israel. So it's a bridge. That book of Ruth is a bridge. 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd King. That's really one big book. And they broke it up because back in the old days they didn't have books, they had scrolls. And so it became too big, so they had to break it up into separate scrolls. So they had 4 scrolls is what I understand, but it could have been 2. I know in the Jewish Bible there's just Samuel and there's Kings. They don't break it up into 1 or 2. Some traditions call the single book of Reigns.
Book of what?
Reigns, R-E-I-G-N-S. And in these books, God announces he will seek after a man after his own heart. Who might that be?
That would be David.
David.
King David. All these falls.
Okay, true or false? Is there a book of David in the Bible?
Ask Jim, he might
Should
know
be.
better. Should be.
You'll never live that down, Jim.
That's all right.
What category of books are Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings?
Historical.
Good job.
Candy's way up here, y'all, I know it.
Which 4 books are really just one big book? Yep, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings. Why'd they break them out into separate books?
Too big.
Those are too big to carry around.
Who did God raise up to lead his Israel?
David,
A man after his own heart?
little shepherd boy.
Okay, that's it for the prepared slides. I just wanted to call one thing out here. Yeah. Saul, the first king, does not follow God faithfully, and God announces he will seek a man after his own heart to rule Israel. God finds this person in David. He puts him on the throne, promising that his descendants will always rule Israel if they continue to serve him.
So David was actually the second king of Israel, and Saul was the first.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Saul didn't work out.
Saul didn't faithfully follow God.
He didn't get a book in the Bible either, Jim.
He didn't?
He tried to kill
He
David.
should.
Why was Saul made king?
Because the people wanted a king.
They wanted a king
They wanted a king.
because everybody else had one.
All the other nations around them had kings, all they had was these judges, and so they wanted a king. And they tried to explain to the people that you might not want this, but they wanted it anyway. And it turns out there were good kings and bad kings.
Way more bad than good.
Yep.
Do you know where the name Israel came from?
No.
When Esau and Jacob, that story, Jacob was returning home after serving his father-in-law Laban for 20 years, and he wrestled with an angel, he called him.
And
said
he
wrestled
got his
with
hip
God.
hurt.
And they wrestled all night long till daybreak, and the angel told Jacob that he needed to let him go because the the sun was coming up. And Jacob said, no, you can't go unless you bless me. Well, he reached in and then he took his hip out of the joint and named to ask him what his name was. Jacob told him his name was Jacob. He said, no, your name is now Israel. And all your descendants will be called Israelites.
Really? Huh.
I thought Israel was one of the sons or something.
No.
Do you know where that's at?
It's in Exodus. We're
Somewhere in Exodus?
yeah, we're studying that today in our Bible study over.
So, one question I have is, David was a man after God's own heart, and Saul did not faithfully follow God. What made David such a special person in God's eyes? Because if you reflect back, David had many failures in his life. One of them was he committed adultery with Bathsheba, and then murdered her husband to try and cover it up, but had an illegitimate kid from it.
See, the women back then wasn't the only one that sinned.
Yeah.
He looked down on Bathsheba and he sinned.
Well, everybody's sinned.
I'm just saying.
Say that again?
I said everybody's sinned since Adam.
But there's always.
How many
some
good
women.
people are in the world, according to the Bible? According to Jesus? None. There's only one good, and that's God, Jesus said.
And Jacob wrestling with the angel. That story's in Genesis.
It's in Genesis.
Exactly what I'm preaching on Sunday.
Oh, good.
All right, yeah. Can we get a preview?
Mike just gave me a preview.
Johnny, how about the books of Ezra and Nehemiah? Weren't they prophets or weren't they prophets?
I don't know. They sound like prophets to me.
I said he's not too heavy yet.
Well, that's in that historical book. I just thought maybe if you were going on, I wanted to ask that.
That-
You're on page 10, we're still on 5.
Oh, no, that's under historical.
But it is a question I had in the back of my mind that I wanted to get
Yeah.
answered. Why is it listed as a historical book?
Yeah, must be very history.
Yeah, even knowing that everybody sins, it's still something that I struggle with is why not Saul? Why David? But, you know, I'm not God, so God had his reasons and his purposes to install David, you know, and I guess, you know, as I reflect on that, no matter who our leaders are, God has his purposes for them.
I think Saul went bad.
Yeah, he did.
It seemed like, am I remembering this correctly? Saul went bad, then he went good, then he went bad.
Yeah.
He kept flip-flopping, is that him?
And he tried to kill David.
Yeah, several
David
times.
became king.
And then David had mercy on him. He had the ability to kill him at one point, and he didn't.
I think God looked on David's countenance. He looked inside. He knew that he had a good heart,
Hmm.
good, whatever it takes to be a chosen king.
Even though he murdered somebody
Yeah, well.
at some point.
That was after he was king too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he wasn't perfect. You know,
Back then, they
there's
murdered
a
a lot of
there's
people
a
for
lesson in
sin.
that. You know that no one's perfect.
Mhm.
We all commit some kind of sin.
And never had a book.
Well, Jim, maybe you can help me with this. This is something I struggle with. It's like, how can all these people in the Bible do these kind of things, and then they're raised up to leadership positions and they lead people and stuff that bless people, but in our society and in our denominations and stuff, if somebody commits a bad sin, they can't lead a church, for example. Why is there that sort of
Well, 'cause we
separation?
judge them different than what God does. You know, we look at someone who sins and so they're not worthy to lead.
Yeah,
That's not what God said.
yeah, right.
You know, God picked those who had qualities to be leaders. And even though they sinned and they made mistakes, God kept them in that position, yeah, but they also, repented too.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
We
We
make,
don't give our leaders a chance to repent. We don't, if you mess up, you just mess up, you're gone.
it doesn't seem like it's godly to do that, though.
It's not,
he killed somebody because of a woman, right?
Bathsheba,
Yeah.
the other husband, had
Yeah,
him
yeah.
killed. He didn't actually kill him.
sent,
he had
yeah,
him
he sent her husband to the front lines of the war, so he
So
could
he killed him.
get killed.
That way he could have Bathsheba.
But he repented, you know,
Yeah.
David did, so, I mean, God forgives, I think that's a good story. It's a good story for us.
And that was Saul that was with Bathsheba.
No, that's
David,
David.
David, and the baby they had together died.
But he sent Bathsheba's husband at the time to the battle so he could kill, so he could have Bathsheba.
Well, Paul was involved in Stephen's murder at least, right? That's
Yeah.
captured in the Bible.
Oh, yeah. He probably
Lots
threw the
of-
first one.
Lots of early Christians died because of Paul, Saul. Your answer to what the story of Jacob is in Genesis 35.
Genesis 35?
Genesis
Okay,
35.
thank you. All right, does anybody have any other thoughts or questions? So we're partway through the history books.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
They started out, the Israelis started out as slaves in Pharaoh, in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
So they were actually the first slaves before the blacks, right?
No.
Are there any black Israelis?
Yes.
Okay. We need to know.
There's black Jewish people.
Okay. So they started out as slaves.
No.
Nice
No,
in here.
no, no.
They ended up as slaves.
They ended up as slaves. They, it all started, I went blank. Who sold, his brothers sold him into,
Joshua,
no,
Egypt, slavery to
it wasn't
Egypt.
Joshua.
Joseph, yeah.
His brothers sold him
Coat of many
into
colors.
slavery, and he went to Egypt. And there was a famine through the whole country, and Joseph's father and family, brothers, who sold him in this way, had to go to Egypt to ask for food. And that's when Joseph made known to his father what they did. And so he had them bring their whole family, all of their possessions and everything, to Egypt to live there so that they wouldn't starve. That's how, over time, they got put into slavery. Yep, that's what started it all. So, it's not a, a few year deal. It took a long time.
they were there 400 years.
Yeah, 400 years.
That's the last.
But they got to be so many of them. That's why they put them in slavery, because they were afraid of them.
Hmm.
Then they left.
But then Moses took them out.
And went through the Red Sea,
Yep.
and went a long way around back
Well,
to Israel.
yeah, they did that. Why did they have them out in the desert for 4 years?
Just wandering around.
Wandering around because they made an idol while Moses was up on the mountain getting the Ten
Right.
Commandments. And so God said that they would not go into the promised land till every one of that generation had died. And so after the last one died, they took them on into the promised land.
Yeah. So when Joshua was talking to those people, he was talking to the generation that had been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. It was a new generation, and they were about to go into.
Yeah. So God made them wander in the desert for 40 years until the last of that generation who made the idols had passed away.
They wanted something they could touch instead
Yeah.
of just barely.
Yeah. You know, and they're not any different than
No.
us or anybody else. They were so quick to turn from God, to turn to idols, to turn to things that they could see and touch and feel, you know,
Right.
instead of a God that they can't see, a God that they don't talk to, a God that it's just what somebody else tells them is a God. you know.
Jim, how long was Moses up on that mountain when they turned on the idols?
40 days.
Oh,
He's up there
I
40
think
days
it's in
and
the
40
Bible,
nights.
but I can't remember.
Long enough to grow a
It's
beard.
a long time.
mine said 40 days and 40
I
nights.
don't remember.
Yeah, mine knows.
Listen, I've gone
It
way
didn't take-
beyond my memory so
it-
far.
That's the problem with all this, I listened to everything being said, I thought, how much is my gonna remember next time they
It
have?
didn't take them long, is what I'm saying.
Oh, no, it didn't, no, it did not take, it didn't.
They
turned
built the,
quickly, yeah.
yeah, the idols right away, so they disappeared.
If you wanna read something really bad, go back and read the story. Because a lot of people were killed because of that. And it wasn't nice. And people look at it and say that God really didn't do that, you know, because our God was not that big.
God told Moses that he was just gonna kill them all, and if he started over, all of them to see them. And Moses begged him not to do that.
I mean, you know, we have a God that tells us, do this, and you'll be my people, and I'll take care of you. But they were so quick to turn from that. They were so quick to sin and turn to idols and all of that. And so God had to punish them. Time after time after time, and then bring them back in. you know. And guess what? We're not much better.
But they disobeyed many times,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
manna and stuff, he told them, only get what you need today, and of course he soured it and
Yeah.
ruined it, they couldn't eat it the next day anyway, cause he told them.
Greed.
But there was a
Greed.
lot of things they did, they brought it on themselves, cause they didn't listen.
Us humans are probably the greediest
Probably.
living things on the earth, you
You know,
know?
we have short memories.
Yep.
Johnny, I looked up Ezra and Nehemiah, and that's why it's in the historical section. They were the two, when they came back from Babylon, they were there, I forget how many years. Anyway, they were, responsible for rebuilding the temple. Ezra was, and Nehemiah was responsible for the walls around Jerusalem.
Do you remember the story of Nehemiah? How he got the people to build a wall around the city?
I can't remember, but it's on
Well-
my tongue, but I can't remember.
Jim,
What?
can we go ahead and go?
Yeah.
Cassie's cat is dead.
Oh, I'm
Which
so
one?
sorry.
Low?
Lola.
Low?
Was he sick?
To get
No.
killed or he's sick?
Nope, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, tell Cassie we're sorry.
We just lost that dog yesterday.
Really?
Zoe, the barky yeti.
Oh, really?
Really? What happened there?
Her cat,
Got a-
Daisy's,
Oh,
Took him down for a wellness checkup.
she just had it.
Long story short, he said, no, she's pretty much gone.
yeah, that's right.
You still have nacho, don't
She
you?
just-
Taco?
Still got nacho.
We get so, I thought it was taco too, I sort of said, you still have taco. Well, it's one of those words,
I let
nacho
him look
taco.
at Zoe for a minute and said, you better shape up.
He'll get you if you, yes.
Oh, Lord, and the beat goes on.
Puddle will fall down in front of me and I say, I'm sorry, I'm not falling to that tree, cause he screams the sun before. I said, no, you just
just have to lay there, I'll step over. Just go.